Okay, for lives and record. What's good, everybody? It's been a minute. Welcome to the Soccer Fan Podcast, where the premise is positivity, the source is love, and the outcome is peace. Hopefully, peace, whatever that means to you. Let me scoot this over. Make sure it's not impede this view. Though. Yeah, that's a little bit too much. All right, so what's good, people? If you've seen the poster for this week, we're talking about manifest destiny. So manifestation of what you perceive your destiny to be, or what you believe. If you're spiritual, what you believe, I guess God has in store for you in terms of everything. I actually didn't even write an outline for this. I've been so busy trying to do a lot of other things, and over the Thanksgiving holiday, just outline didn't get made, and I kind of actually like that I didn't make an outline for this one, because as someone who's going through the process of trying to, I guess, get to know myself a little bit better, and really figure out what path I'm on and what track I want to take with different things, and how to expand my brand of Unconquered World and Unconquered Fitness, and even the vlogs that I haven't been on top of. So forgive me for that, but they'll come as I feel they should. I don't want anything to feel kind of not, I'm not gonna say not realistic, because sometimes the positivity can seem unrealistic, but it's not, because it's really who I am and really what I want to spread. But not having an outline for this one really hits home in terms of everything, because I'm in the middle of figuring it all out, just like some of you guys. So I guess what I really want to talk about today in terms of manifesting your destiny is really figuring out, like I said last podcast, what your return on every investment you make is. Really find out what your return is for all of those things. Find out, what your return is on your time spent, giving up this or that. Whatever your time spent doing something is, figure out what you're trying to get out of it, and make sure that everything is in line with what you're trying to get out of it. Don't do anything without understanding how much time and effort it's going to take, and also understanding that everybody's journey isn't yours. What you're going through isn't the same thing that somebody else is going to go through, and how you manifest your destiny isn't going to be the same way somebody else manifests theirs. Different things happen to different people, and we have to act accordingly and understand that it's all connected. A story over the holiday was, I cut my cousin's hair in Nashville, and he paid me for it. And I'm like, why did you pay me to cut your hair? You're my cousin. But anyway, I take it anyway. And then I got a client that, I train a little bit, and he couldn't pay. And exactly what my cousin paid me was exactly what I was charging him for that day. So I said, hey, you going through something? He hit me up, said, you going through something and whatnot. And I said, I'll cover you for this day. I can't do it all the time, but I can for today. So I chose to do it that day. And it's just crazy how connected those two things were. And it's just a sign that, I'm on the right path. I'm doing, what I'm supposed to do. And that, it comes back tenfold, because as soon as I finish, that session that weekend, I get hit up the next day about some other people that really wanted to try to get started and get involved with what I was doing. So it came back tenfold. And that's what it's about, man. It's about manifesting the right energy. It's about putting the right energy out there. It's about doing the right thing and trying to make sure that, you stay on a path that is in line with who you are. And from that, you'll really be able to start seeing how the dots connect. So that's the first thing. Figure out your time, your return on investment in terms of what you're trying to manifest, and how to go about it. The second thing that I would say in terms of manifesting your destiny is write things out. Write it all the way out. I mean, every detail of what you want, what you're trying to go towards and everything. Write it out and keep it somewhere where you can see it, daily, if possible. I have little note cards around my mirror in my room that say what my daily goals are, in terms of like just living life, laugh and learn something, call someone that you care about, anything like that. And then I have monthly goals in terms of what I set for the fitness thing and trying to help people with that, and try me how many people I want to help a month or how I want to push forward with that, and really try to promote this positivity, love, and peace with the Unconquered brand. So write those things out, and it might not happen at first, but you got to stick with it, because nothing happens at first or on the first time. Rarely do things happen how you want them to, at least on the first time. So with those things written out, have them be specific as far as your plan, and then have some general ones that are like your overarching goals, to laugh today, to talk to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, even if it's just a 15-minute conversation on your way to work, or on your way home from work, or while you're walking through the grocery store. Me, I hate the grocery store. So if I got some signal in the grocery store, I'm probably going to call somebody, because I want to keep my mind off being in the grocery store. So with that being said, man, write things out, and then start trying to figure out how to live, how to incorporate those things that you say you want into your lifestyle, and you start getting closer to your destiny. So look at those things daily, write them out, really figure out what it is that you say you want, and have the audacity to work for them, as Gary Vee says. Another thing, the third thing I want to talk about is what you feed your mind, reading. A lot of you start to become what you learn, right? So, the basic, I guess the basic skill of how we comprehend and learn things is through observation. I was watching my goddaughter, and it looks like Allison's on this feed too. So I was watching my goddaughter, and I was kind of looking at how she reads before she really could read. And, I look at her, look at the pictures, and then just describe what she sees. So I come to the realization that everything that we do on the most basic level is through observation. So what you're feeding your mind, whether it's looking at words and understanding the concept, or what you immerse yourself in terms of the people you hang around, or even the music you listen to. If you can't decipher and distinguish, what is what, and certain realities, you'll start to fall victim to the things that aren't what you say you want. And until you're aware that you're doing it, you can't change it. So become aware of what you're feeding your brain. Read into things deeper than just the surface level of it's just this, or it's just that, or I can stop doing this, or I'll read that a little bit later. No, read exactly what you say you want, and observe and hang around the things that you say you want, in order to start manifesting and get closer to your goal. Because so much of what we do is about connection. It's not really about, did I get an A in this class, or did I write this best paper? And being competitive is a thing. I'm very competitive. I hate losing, to the point where people don't even want to play certain things with me. But that all just comes back into, understanding what I've immersed myself in, and what I became through what I've been around in terms of sports for me. So understand those things, immerse yourself around the things and the people, and read and learn about the things that you want, because you start to become what you're learning, which is why if you're in a field in college, or you're in a field professionally, I think that you have to understand what you're learning and figure out how that fits with you, because sometimes we don't get a chance to really practice on who we want to become, because we get condemned and so behind on what we feel we should be or are not compared to others. So when you get out of that mindset and really figure out who you are, which goes back to writing these things out and having these daily goals and figuring out how to manifest yourself into where you're trying to go, when you really start to figure those things out, and you start to step into, where you're supposed to be, or where you effectively brought yourself to, you'll look at it a little bit differently. You'll say, hey, I can do this a little bit differently, and I've connected with this person that can help me do this. Or I remember this one time when I was reading this and doing this at work, or doing this with my friends or whatnot, that this method for this problem works. Because all life is problem solving. even if it's a big or a small problem, it's problem solving to say the least. You have to use the restroom, you go to the restroom. You're hungry, you eat. If it's cold, you put a jacket on. It's problem solving, figuring out how to solve whatever your perceived problem at that moment is, and really gaining perspective about who you are. And manifesting destiny is no different. It's a problem that you might not know exactly where you're supposed to be. But as you get closer and do these things that I've described to you so far, you'll really start to get into a habit, because everything's a habit. Books right here. But you're really starting to get into a habit of understanding yourself better and taking control of your time and being more aware of your time. Lastly, to close out, we get to time, because nobody has infinite time. I mean, not until we're gone. You only live twice, right? So I say that all the time because, hey, I believe I'm going to heaven after this. So I got one life on this earth. I got eternal life in heaven. And, I only get one chance at this earth thing. So in order to try to have an impact down here, I have to understand time. And I understand time in a different way that I think a lot of people do. I understand that time is based on awareness. You can become a time bender, so to speak, in so many words, in my opinion, because when you're aware of time, then it often seems longer. When you're not as aware of time, it can seem shorter. And that's why time flies when you're having fun. So I actually just told my LB this. If you get to the end of life and it feel like you got there a little bit faster than you were supposed to, then you probably did what you were supposed to in life, because time flies when you're having fun or when you're doing something you perceive as meaningful. But if you're not, then you get to that end point and it's regret, and it's I wish I could have done this better, which we all will have some of that, because it comes with making mistakes. So you have to start to become aware of that and accept that some of those things are going to happen because we make mistakes. So you're going to regret a couple of things. Just try to keep your regrets to a minimum, and really figure out how to become aware of your time and use it in ways that make you feel like time is not really a factor in what you're doing. And I feel like that's how you manifest your destiny, man. You really figure out yourself first. You write it down. You figure out how to take certain actions that solve these problems of you not knowing what you're supposed to do. And then you go from there. And from there, you become this complete person, not just one dimensional where, hey, I got up and went here every day, or, hey, I only talk to this group of people all the time. Like, you become somebody who gets to see things from different perspectives. You get to become a teacher. You get to become a doctor. You get to become I ain't gonna say a lawyer, but a litigator, because everybody's not cut out for that law school haze. So you get to become all these different things that you never thought you would be. And I really believe that this might be the most important podcast I've done up to this point. And I feel like all of them are important, but I feel like this one, not having a script and me really being able to just kind of get on here and say how I feel about this topic as someone who's going through it, who doesn't always have the best days, who sometimes get overwhelmed with all of this stuff that I'm sitting in this home office looking at and wondering how I'm going to organize this so I can execute this plan and one day be able to provide for my family and do these different things that I want to do. Oftentimes that can get overwhelming and I don't have the best days. But what I do know is that I'm setting it up to where I'm learning, I'm becoming better at being Malik. And through this, I can start helping somebody become better at being John, or better at being Sally, or better at being a mom, or better at being a father, or better at being a cousin, brother, sister, aunt, friend, confidant, whatever you are. I believe that these principles, in terms of you figuring out yourself, help you become better suited to figure out who you should be around and everything down to what you wear every day. It all matters. It all is connected, and that's manifesting destiny. So I hope I got to some people. I see a lot more views than I usually have, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. It's been a while, so forgive me for not being on here as much as I wanted to. I actually am starting late because I was on I was outside, as you can see by this thick jacket. I'm actually starting late because I had to go pick up my stepmother, and I got it in, and I got back in, and I got it in. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and that's it for today. And for the people who watch on my Unconquer World account on Instagram, I don't know. I think this feed went out, so it might not be the whole thing, but you can catch it on my personal page and on both Facebooks. So once again, I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.